Awesome. Okay, we're going to get started. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. All of your microphones are currently muted just to help reduce the background noise and feedback. This webinar is going to be recorded and the link will be available after the webinar is over on our GSCM website. We will pause throughout the webinar to address questions. So if you have a question, please type your message, or if you want to put a thumbs up or an emoji, I can also unmute your mic if you prefer to do that. And again, this is what it looks like if you want to type your message or do an emoji to let me know you have a question. Today, your presenters are myself, Michelle Ross. I'm a Member Experience Associate with Girl Scouts of Central Maryland, and also Masika McCoy, who is also a Member Experience Associate with Girl Scouts of Central Maryland. Did you want to say hi, Masika?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Masika. Awesome. Can everybody else hear Masika? Let's give her a thumbs up or emoji just to let her know you can hear her as well. Thank you so much. Okay, my screen seems to be jumping here. Bear with me. Awesome. Everybody can hear us. Okay, so I just want to start out about what is the VTK. The VTK, also known as the Volunteer Toolkit, is a fully customizable digital planning tool. This is the tool that we've devised for our leaders to help them with their planning out meetings and resources for the girls and their Girl Scout troop experiences. The VTK is accessible on every computer, tablet, and mobile device, and it provides you with Girl Scout program content along with award requirements and other resources. With the Volunteer Toolkit, it helps you take the guesswork out of planning and spend more time exploring the topics with your girls. Because a lot of times girls are much more involved, since this is a girl-led environment, when you help them with the process of choosing the different things they want to work on. So the Volunteer Toolkit helps you to explore these options with the young ladies so that way they can continue the girl-led experience. In order to access your Volunteer Toolkit, you simply log on to www.gscm.org. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen because I'm going to go and pull up the site so you can see what it looks like to access the screen. Okay. So right now, when you go to www.gscm.org, you'll simply go to the sign in button and enter your information. You enter your username and passcode. At that point, you will have the option to enter the Volunteer Toolkit, which we'll be focused on tonight, or go into your member profile. Now, this is what your screen will look like. I wanted to pull it up on here so you can see for yourselves. However, for this presentation, I'm going to use our demo site. Okay. When you log into the Volunteer Toolkit, you will have the option to go in either as a troop leader or as a parent. I'm going to start with the troop leader since we have our troop leaders and volunteers on the phone tonight, but I do need to let you know that parents also have the ability to access the Volunteer Toolkit, and we'll come back a little later in the presentation to talk about what that looks like for them. So when you go to the Volunteer Toolkit, you as a troop leader will start by selecting whatever grade level you're working with. For tonight, I'm just going to use the Brownies. And once you select your grade level, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, it lets you know what grade level you are. And if you are a troop leader of several troops with this drop-down menu, you will be able to see all the troops and choose the different grade levels. You also, on the first tab here is your troop. That lets you know all of the girls that are in the troop. And you also have their contact information. This page is also an excellent tool because you can go in and make any changes to the girls' records. If a parent happens to give you a new phone number or something like that, you could do it from here. And then you also can send out emails to all of the girls in your troop at one time. So this helps you a little bit so you don't have to copy and paste emails. I do need to let you know when you use this feature, don't let your parents know to check for the email because sometimes it does go to the spam box of their receiving email account. So basically, one of the things that we use the Volunteer Toolkit for, again, is to help you with those lesson plans so you don't have to come up from scratch with ideas on what to do. Well, you want to go to your Explore tab in order to find the lesson plans. And you have two options. You can either build your own lesson plans if you know specific badges that you and the girls want to work on, or you can look at some pre-selected tracks. To start off, I'm going to put in some pre-selected tracks. So you click View Popular Tracks. And as you can see, you have all of your Brownie badges and your journeys. So I'm just going to click Brownie Badges Option 2. This badge right here gives 7 badges and 15 meetings. So I'm going to click that so I can preview it and see exactly what is in here. As you can see, it gives you a detail of every single meeting which you would be talking about. So basic introduction meeting, which would be at the beginning of the year. Jump into journey badges, which tells you how to help start getting badges, first aid. And I'm just going to skim through meet my customers where you get ready for cookie season, philanthropists, and also your closing celebration. So this actual track consists of 15 meetings. And if I hit select track, it's going to ask me that I'm verified that I'm choosing this. And I will hit select. And it will automatically populate everything for you. Now, this VTK system is designed to run from July through June. So right now there's 15 meetings and the meetings are short in a short and compressed time frame because of the fact right now that's already in April. However, when you get ready to load your meetings for next year, you can stretch them out from July 1st all the way through June 30th. I do want to caution you that before June 30th, you need to make sure you archive your data that you're using for this. Or if not, it will be deleted to make space for the following year. So once you've chosen what individual track you want to do or how you want to do your badges, you have the option to move meetings around. For instance, if you wanted to do the fling flyer design before cabin camper, you simply just slide it up and adjust the meetings accordingly, and it'll move it around for you. And as you can see, it moved it up to ahead of that. The first meeting is ahead of the cabin camper now. In order to see what the actual agendas look like, you just double click. Well, I'm sorry, let me go back. To actual start the meeting, you put in your start date. So this is already April the 6th. And let's say we're going to be meeting on every Friday. So we'll put in April the 10th for our first meeting, and we're going to meet at 4 o'clock. And I'm just going to change this to weekly. And as you can see, the calendar already populates the traditional holidays. But if you do plan to meet on any of these days, like say if you're still having a meeting on Independence Day or Washington's birthday, you simply uncheck the box and update the calendar. You also can put in an actual location, which so people know where to meet. And we'll come back to the activity tab in a few. But you update your calendar. And since it does have the date in our since the VTK does close on June 30th, it will result in 11 meetings versus the 15 meetings. So what that means is that you have 3 meetings that are unaccounted for because it went past the date. So what we're going to do, I'll show you how to schedule those in so you end up getting all of your meetings in one condensed field. So you go back to the April the 10th meeting. If you double click the title, this gives you an overview of the meeting. The one thing I like about using this Volunteer Toolkit, it gives you the meeting overview, which you can click it, which gives you a short synopsis of what the meeting is going to be about. It tells you that the expectations of what should be achieved by the meeting time in, what the girls are going to learn. It also tells you what you need to do with your parents. So the parents are helping and supporting this, because when the parents are supporting the troop leaders and have a buy-in, it makes the entire experience for the Girl Scout an awesome one. It also lets you know how to prepare for the meeting, so you know what you need to do ahead of time, the materials you're going to need. Also, it tells you suggested time frames. 2 weeks before the first meeting, you should be doing these things like setting a date and time. 1 week before, you should be looking for health history forms and medical forms. Now, again, this is for the first meeting. And the day before, it also gives you tips as well. It also reminds you to bring snacks, make name tags, and gather any materials you may need for the meeting. The actual activity plan tells you how long the meeting should be, 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how many girls are in your troop. And once you start meeting with your girls, you'll get a feel for how quickly they move through each meeting. So it tells you to suggest a time frame. It also gives you a breakdown of how long each part of the meeting should last. Introduction should be about 10 minutes. Then when you get into the actual lesson plan, it tells you how long each part of that should be as well. It also gives you the wrap-up session and some activities to do. So on this particular plan, they're making a name tag. And it also gives you some games and traditions that you can do as well that go along with the meeting plan for the evening. It also gives you what I like to have, a materials list. So if you're like me and most other leaders, you plan ahead, you can run out to the store, just print this list, or actually just download it to your phone and take it with you. You have everything right there so you know exactly what you need. And it even gives you a nice suggestion for a healthy snack, which is awesome. If you don't have parents doing snacks, so that way it can help take a little bit of pressure off you about thinking about having something different so girls are not getting the same thing every time. Another tool that I love on here is that you can send a reminder email, which you can set this up ahead of time and say to the parents, say, hey, we're just reminding you about the meeting. And this tells the parents what they're going to do and what they're going to learn, and also your expectation of the parents. And you can also go in and edit this and make changes as you want. And then this talk gives you the printouts for each individual activity that you're going to need. So like this is for the name tag template. And again, this just breaks down the time frames. If you want to see everything individually, you can go in section by section versus looking at the entire overview of the meeting. And you also can add some meeting notes if you want to make some personal notes, just as a reminder for yourself. You also have the opportunity to record attendance. So if every girl that shows up, you just check this, and that also records their attendance for the meeting that day. Now, once you have set up this meeting and you go and look at your calendar, or the girls decide, hey, we're not going to do this intro meeting, you always have the option to replace this meeting with something else, which you could look for another meeting. And you would just simply go in and click brownie, because we're working with the brownies. Select the type of meeting that you want to do, whether intro to family, badges and petals, award earning and closing. And I'm just going to pick badges and petals so you can see something else. Let's say if we're going to do creativity and the arts, it tells you the list, and you can click any of these badges. So let's say you don't really need to do an interest meeting because the girls all know each other, and they just decide, hey, we're going to go straight into dance. You select that meeting, and you have replaced that meeting, replace the previous meeting with the new meeting. And you can see it says the new date and time. And if you go back to your year plan, you can see dancer has been replaced with the number 1 meeting. Also, an option you could do if you decide for some reason that you just cannot have this meeting at all, you can always go in and delete the meeting. And then it'll give you this reminder, if you delete the meeting, just remember that the girls haven't performed the requirements to earn that badge or that journey. So we'll just go ahead and delete it. I'm going to go over here back to the meeting plan, and let me go back to the year plan because I want to show you how to condense your calendar. Okay, so we're going to manage our calendar. So to change the date and the time or cancel an individual meeting, you simply click on the calendar icon. You can change it to any date and time. And then you also have the unique feature to combine meetings, which is an extra meeting. So let's say, okay, we know that schools are going to be closed for spring break and we need to have 2 meetings at one time. So we can combine, just check the 2 meetings you want to combine, hit combine meeting, and hit continue. We're going to change the date to the 17th. So let's change it to the 10th. And save it. And now you have 2 meetings on the same day. Now, the tool that I just showed you works really, really well, especially if you have a multi-level troop, because when you have a multi-level troop and you're dealing with brownies, daisies, and let's say you have juniors all meeting at the same time, when you go to put in your meetings, this will give each leader the opportunity to place all of their meetings in on the same day, and then you can combine them, and parents will still be able to see who's meeting and what they're doing at each meeting. And so that way, the actual lesson plans won't jump over top of each other, and you can still put everything in there. I'm going to stop right here and see if we have any questions thus far. Masika, did you have any questions thus far or anything you want to add at this point?
I don't have anything to add, but I don't see the questions in the. Okay, let's see. Pam has a question. She has a list of meetings, but not assigned dates. Is it possible to do any of this without giving them dates?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me pull my screen back up here. So Pam, thank you for asking that question. So in all honesty, I've never had that question, but we can learn together. I do not believe, well, actually, you know what? I'm telling you, you can put it on there because if you remember correctly, when we went in to do the year plan, and let me actually click on the year plan. I want to explore, reset my year plan. I'm going to start over. If you remember when we chose the original year plan, when you put in the meetings, there were actually no dates because we did not select any dates. So yes, it is possible to do that. You can simply choose what you want to do, select it, and then when it's saved, there's no actual meeting dates because you did not have a calendar put in place. Do we have any other questions right now?
Pam also has a follow-up question. She can add stuff to her meetings, but she can't seem to remove anything.
Okay, now are you trying to remove an entire meeting, Pam, or just explain? I'm sorry, explain to me what you mean by remove. Are you trying to remove the entire meeting or?
She says yes.
Okay, go back to this one. I'm sorry, bear with me here. I got kicked out of my. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, go back in and we were working with brownies. Okay, so I'm just going to pick something real quickly to get it back on the screen so I can show you how to do that. So we would click the actual meeting. Yeah, select the track first. So this would already be on your VTK when you're looking at it. So you simply, let's say if we didn't want to have the first day meeting, you come into, you actually click on the meeting, then click delete meeting. And then it'll again give you that message to say, hey, are you sure you want to delete it? You click delete, and then that meeting is now gone from your agenda or from your actual, from your year. So does that answer your question, Pam? Hello, does that answer our question, Masika?
Um, Looks like she's trying to add journeys and badges.
Okay.
She doesn't see the screen option to delete meetings.
Okay, so you have to actually click on the meeting. So like where I'm, can you also see my screen now? So where I'm clicking Brownie intro to meeting, I'm clicking on the meeting. And then right at the top, it says delete meeting. And then I'm clicking delete meeting. And then you click delete again. Did that make sense, Pam? And if anybody else has questions, please feel free to ask.
I have a question, Lachelle.
Okay.
Is that delete meeting option only available to troop leaders, or do troop leaders and co-leaders both have that same option?
So everybody that's registered as a leader should have this option to do this.
Okay.
Parents have access to the VTK, however, they cannot make any changes. Co-leaders can also go in and update the year plan to make changes, but parents cannot. So your leaders and co-leaders should be able to make changes. They should be able to add to the year plan, and they should also be able to delete meetings. So parents can only look at it, but we'll go over the parents later. So hopefully all of this makes sense. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see all of the dates that GSCM has put in. These are Girl Scout dates. These dates you are not allowed to change or make any changes to. They stay in there. Since we don't have dates on our meeting, that's why all of them are at the bottom. But let's say we knew we were going to have meeting 15 after um, April the 20th, you can simply drag it down if you're not using a calendar. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Where did it go? Okay, what is supposed to happen is when you drag it down, it will go in between the orange things. And it might not be doing that because I'm on the demo site, but you should be able to do it on the actual VTK site. And then, like I said, when you have dates in there, these actual orange bars will be in between your meetings because everything will be in chronological order. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you on here, which is a great tool, is if you click the resource tab, and regardless of what level you'll choose, you'll be able to see resources for Daisy, Brownie, juniors, cadets for every single level. It has a wealth of resources. One of the things that I love about this resource tab is parents ask all the time, where do I place what on my uniform? What badges go where? What fun patches go where? So what I do is refer them to the VTK. They simply click uniform placement and they get a nice color PDF telling them where everything should go. And they can download that or they can print that, or as you as the troop leader want to do it, you can do that as well. But parents have the access to see that from their end as well. Also, you have the badge and awards chart. So this is our national proficiency badges. It tells you every national proficiency badge for Girl Scouts, and it tells you what badges coincides with what. So if you have a multi-level group, and let's say if you're working on the, trying to see where they're different, the fling flyer design challenge with your brownies. If you do the roller coaster design challenge with the daisies and the balloon car design challenge with the juniors, it should all coincide and they can all work on the badges and potentially earn them together. And it lists all of our national proficiency badges for you. And it's also done in this format if you need to download, or you can pull up the screen for your girls so they can also choose what they want to work on and what awards they can see. You also have all of your Girl Scout traditions. It talks about the Girl Scout faith, your national awards, also some training videos, all of your information on trips and travels, the cookie program, camping outdoors, and global advocacy. We also have our internet safety pledge and our family hub, and also knowing your role as a troop leader. So all of these things are available for all levels, and everyone can access this. Everybody has access to these resources under the Volunteer Toolkit. Okay, and I'm going to go back. Did it make sense how I combine the meetings on the calendar for everybody? Because I know sometimes that's kind of tricky, so I just want to make sure that I didn't go too fast on that. If I need to go over it again, I can. Okay. I am going to go back to the manager calendar. Again, I did tell you that when you put in the location, so you can put in, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm just going to put troop 1, 2, 3 school, and then the address. Um, When you put in your location, it does apply to all of your meetings scheduled. And so that way, when you send out an email, the location will also be entered on the email along with the time if you do an email reminder to your parents. And right now, we don't have any activities that have been put in for the year, but you also have the opportunity to add an activity. Now, when I say add activity, this will be something outside of the troop meeting. So let's say if you're going to do end of the year trip to I don't know, like an end of the year camping trip that's not a traditional troop meeting, you would simply enter camping. Got a spell here. You can put the cost if you want to give that information to the parents. So let's say if each girl had to pay um, $35 towards the camping trip, they had an extra year of cookie sales, you will put in the start date, and let's say they're going May the 15th. And you could also put the location. In the description would be camping trip. And you add that activity, and that would also show on your calendar. Didn't enter the location name. Um, and then we add the activity. And when you go down, you have that activity as well. You actually can go back to your calendar and click your activities, and it'll tell you the activities that you have as well. Any questions about that? Okay.
There is a question about VTK usage.
Okay.
Can parents RSVP to events like a camping trip through the VTK?
Okay. Let's go to the parent side so you can see what they see. Let's look here. So now I am going into the VTK as a parent. So this will allow you to see everything that they see. The only thing the parent can see, and I'm going to get to your question about RSVPing, they can see their immediate family. They do not see any of the other girls in the troop information. They will see the year plan, whereas one is not showing because it's a demo site and one would have to be created. And they can see the resources. So to answer your question, no, they cannot RSVP to something you have there. That they can respond to your email if you wanted to use that method, but they cannot do a direct RSVP. And they also can see all of the resources as well. I also need to let you know once the finance tab is live on on the troop leader side, parents can also see the volunteer toolkit. They can't change, can see the finance information for your troop. They cannot change any of that information, but whatever you have submitted, they have access to see. So I do want to make sure you are aware of that, and that will stay up for till June 30th until the system switches over. And just so for the troop leaders, if you're new, just so you're aware, Girl Scouts of Central Maryland does ask that you submit a financial overview of your troop for the entire year. You do that along with the current bank statement. And under the Volunteer Toolkit on the troop leader side, the finance tab will be available soon. So you just simply go in and upload the information to the finance tab. Do we have any other questions right now? Okay, again, I just want to go over, just to remind everybody that this resource tab is an excellent opportunity. It's a lot of meeting aids, including worksheets. You have songs, reference materials, and videos that you might use for the meeting. And it also lists all of your activities that you can explore, such as the different camp cookie program, the camp outdoors, traditions, etc. And then the main thing that for the volunteer, I'm gonna go back to the parent side. To the troop leader side. The thing that I love again as a former troop leader is the fact that it just gives you the lesson plan, so you don't have to do any of the legwork. You can always most um, customize anything on your level. So actually, I'll do cadet. So if I'm working on stuff for cadet, like for instance, the media part, I'm selecting this meeting. And it also even gives you the option to take a guided tour. So if you're not sure what you want to do at this point, which is something I forgot to show you this, if you're not sure what to do when you select something, click guided tour and it'll walk you through step by step. You could do a guided tour or add a badge or a journey to a meeting or how to combine meetings. So since I'm in the demo, it's not going to run, but on the live screen, if you're in the live version, which you will be in, you'll be able to see that. And it tells you step by step, just like I did as well. Also, under your resource tab for the meeting tonight, I've also put in there a handout, which gives you a guide to the VTK on how to use the VTK successfully. It also tells you where to send issues to if you have any questions or issues. It tells you how to resolve any major issues. One of the issues that we get a lot of questions about is I do not have access to the VTK, especially at the beginning of the year when troops start to meet again. If you get that error message, it means one or two things. You have not renewed your membership, or you've renewed your membership as a leader, but you did not renew your position. Because even if you pay your money to renew your membership and you don't renew your position, you will not have access to the VTK to make your plans and make changes as the leader. So please be sure to do both. If you're a lifetime member, also please remember to renew your current role so that way you have access to everything. Are there any other questions right now?
Yes, there is a question. Is it possible to see badge or journey requirements without adding them to the year plan?
So yes, you can see them. So for instance, let's go to Explore and add badge or journey. So let's say you were looking for, I'm just going to use the filter. So I go into something. So let's say I was looking for Wonders of Water. Okay, so I apologize. I gave you the incorrect information. This is actually making me add the plan. But at the beginning of the year, before you start your plan, like when you go to Manage Calendar, I'm sorry, not Manage Calendar, Explore the year, and you reset your plan, you could click on them before you actually add them. But you would have to do it all at the beginning, or the option is you would have to go in and look at if you already have your plan set, then you have to add it to it, and then you can always delete it. So like right here, we're in preview mode. So this gives you the option to see the requirements and everything before you add it. But once you actually start your plan and add your plan, then it's already set. So you would have to actually add the badge to your year. And then if you decide not to do it, just delete it. Any other questions right now?
No, we don't see any new ones.
Okay. I do want to just again remind you that we did put the handouts onto the presentation tonight. There's two handouts there. I do encourage you to download the Volunteer Toolkit overview, because once the presentation is over, you will not be able to download it because it's only available while the presentation is open. And let me go back. I also want to remind you that we do have other upcoming webinars we have this month. These are the five webinars that are coming up next. Through April 16th, we have Discover Your Authentic Leadership on the 7th, tomorrow. You can learn to sing some Girl Scout songs on April the 8th. We also have Community Service versus Take Action projects, so you know the difference. a webinar swaps, and also on April the 16th, our Girl Scout of Central Maryland shop talk about uniform essentials. And also, I put a handout about the volunteer engagement webinars in case you did not receive the email. All of you as a leader should have received the email, but in case you did not, you can actually download this information and it tells you what to do so you can get access to these webinars. And then also you have the other handout about the Volunteer Toolkit overview. And I'm just going to take a quick minute to see if we have any more questions. Okay, Masika, did you have anything you want to add or anything I missed?
No, I think you got it all.
Okay, well, I would like to thank you so much for your time and thank you for all you do as our volunteers for Girl Scout of Central Maryland. I am going to leave this session open just for a few minutes in case some of you need to take a minute just to download the handouts that are attached. You simply go to where the chat room is if you don't know, and then it's a section that says handouts, so you just download both attachments. And if you do come up with any questions later, please don't hesitate to send an email to membercare@gscm.org. Thank you so much and have a great evening.